Live from the virtual Talladega SuperSpeedway, we welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where tonight we get set to go racing once again in the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz from the biggest, the baddest track on the NASCAR calendar. Welcome back to the show. My name is Old Rambo, bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from start to finish of what should be an absolutely thrilling drive around this 2.6-mile behemoth. It is 84 laps the distance, just under 250 miles, getting set to go racing for us here tonight. It is going to be a long race. It is going to be a fast race. And you know that all of these drivers here tonight are going to be looking to put in some absolutely stellar times and some stellar racing action as we'll look set to continue to march our way further and further through the second season of the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. The point standings entering tonight continue to be dominated by Michael Gudger, but only by 10 at the top of the points boards, ahead of Brad Slagle. Aaron Raymond with a good finish last week at Vegas has pushed himself up to third of the point standings, but that is only 16 points back behind Gudger. It is still anybody's game at the top of the points boards. 60 cars actually have registered for this race, but remember, only 43 will get the chance to make their way in. Currently, you have 45 that have qualified. We have another 2 that are on track qualifying as of right now. Paul Regney and Mike Presley will be the 2 drivers that are trying to work themselves up and around as though they look set to try to get themselves to the top end of the points board. There you see Mike Presley. He is just starting his first flying lap of the afternoon. Meanwhile, Paul Regney in a similar spot just behind, looking across the start-finish stretch this time by to try to put that number 57 Toyota Tundra further up onto the points board. But at the moment, it is Mike Presley, the driver we're watching right now, as he is trying to see if he can put himself just that little bit further up to the top of the points charts here in this one, as he's going to take his number 44 Chevy Silverado and see if he can be one of the 2 lucky drivers to work his way into the championship race here tonight. 2 other drivers, Chris Campbell as well as Mike Rhino, have both confirmed they are not going to be able to race tonight. They are both out of the top 43. So they're going to be down and out effectively. Here comes Mike Presley. He's going to fire his way across start finish for the first time and for his first lap here in this one. And will it be enough to lock his way into the show? Oh, I will not. Only 46th on the grid, but he still has 1 lap to get it done. Meanwhile, Paul Regney is down in the pit road, and problems for the number 57 Toyota Tundra could see him down and out. Meanwhile, Presley, seeing if he can't get that 1 extra lap to put himself a bit further up on the points charts. As the driver to Knoxville, Tennessee, looking set to see if he can't get himself with a good charge up to the top end of this field. And it's going to be a rough ride if Presley wants to really get himself up into contention for that race here tonight. And it does not look like he will have the time, as he is going to be, well, he might actually have enough time, but it looks like something going to arrive for him as he is down and effectively out. So problems will set in for Presley, and that'll put an end to his qualifying effort in a hurry. We're going to take a quick step back, and we'll be back with your starting grid in just a few moments. You are watching the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
So with that, we've got effectively the entire field ready to rumble, as the starting grid will be up on your screens here in just a few moments. Qualifying comes to a close, and we are ready to show you everything's going to line on up for race number 5 to kick off the second half of the season in the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. It is Jim Duda on the pole out of the Midwest with a 55.934. Robert Jordan, 5,000 of a second off in the number 2 spot. Bill Hales and Giovanni Alcapinti will be on row number 2. Row 3 holds Brad Slagle and Paul Witt. Aaron Raymond and James Hoskins will be on row number 4. Mike Campbell and Chris Van Maastricht will be on row number 5. John Bawalda Jr. and Thomas Lane Jr. will be on row 6 with Dale Rapp and Mike Allen on row 7. Tobias Matheson and Kyle Howard on row number 8. Row 9 will hold Brett Rucker along with Zane Bailey. Moving down to the field, Mike Bagwell and Michael Gudger will round out the top 20. To close out the top half of the field, you'll have Tim Flitcroft along with Nicholas Casey. Ryman Roberts is in 23rd with David Anderson in 24th. Raymond Ferreira and Josh Berry will be in 26th. Liban Van Leer will be in 27th. Jordan Young will be in 28th. Brian Cloyd is in 29th, and John Holiday will round out row number 15. Row 16 holds Zach Rivali with Raymond Hanneman down in 32nd. George Rincon in 33rd. Brian Huntley Jr. will be 34th. James Wertzma is in 35th with Nicholas Erlin in 36th. Josh Mall is 37th. Tom Mays will be in 38th. Frederick Hofstetter and Dustin Haynes will round out 39th and 40th. David Amalia, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, and Mike Hamlin will be in 42nd. To close out the field, you'll have in 33rd, Kenneth Johnson. From there, Chris Campbell, the first driver not to qualify. He'll join the likes of Mike Presley, Jason Miz, Brad Lane, Gregory Velade, Paul Regney, Steven Smith, Micah Martin, Chad Waller, Mark Reed, Rick Schneider, Greg Adams, Justin Dews, Toby Estes, John Brancaccio, and Ryan Gillette. And they will be the drivers that will not be in this race at the end. So a lot of drivers watching from the sidelines, and among those that did not put down a qualifying time, it's looking actually like, in fact, we might be seeing a couple of drivers not able to put down the laps that they were hoping for in the midst of all of this. And in fact, we got a lot of trucks in the background here that have not gotten going. In fact, there's one that is still sitting stop. That is Tobias Matheson, who is just now getting rolling as he'll set out for pit road. So we are going to be delaying this start here for a little bit so we can get ourselves kind of sorted as the evening goes along, and so we can make sure that everything is going to be in tip-top shape. We'll get set to duke it out for what should be a rather intense ride here in this one. We've got, of course, one driver further towards the back end of the field here that's going to be looking to make some good moves, and it will be the likes of Raymond Hanneman, the driver that's going to be starting way down. He'll be starting from 32nd here in this field. As you can see, he is starting up on that outside row, and it's not going to be an easy drive for that number 85 machine. So let's see if we can't get in touch here with Raymond Hanneman, the driver of the number 85 truck, as see if we can't give him a quick word here. Raymond, this is Nolan Rampol up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I have a copy.
Well, it's going to be a wild race, no doubt, tonight. You're starting pretty much at the tail end of the midfield. What's it going to be like for you on this initial 17 laps before we're allowed to go 3 wide?
Honestly, I'm just going to save as much fuel as I can. These guys are really, really fast, and honestly, it's just to stay alive and dodge the big ones. So I'm doing what I can, and I'll go to the front when I do.
Overall, I mean, we've seen how crazy these races could get before. You know what it's like to be at the back. You know what it's like to be at the front. You were running up at the sharp end of the field a good little bit at Las Vegas 1 week ago. Is that going to be the same game plan this year? Just try to survive and hope you can make your way up there in the end?
Yeah, I'll pick off my positions when I can, for sure. I think working with certain drivers within the league, especially with Aaron Raymond last week, and then especially now with Dusty Haynes in the 6 car, I'm pretty sure we can get a good train going and make the outside work when we're allowed to go 3 wide.
Well, we'll let you get back down to work. Best of luck out there when we go green flag racing this time by, and we'll see if that 85 truck will still be in one piece by the end of this 84-lap affair.
Awesome. Thanks, Nolan.
That was Raymond Hanneman, the driver, going to be starting from the 32nd position, so way down in the field, but still with a lot of potential for him later on in this race. Jim Duda will be the one that will lead the way to green as we'll go green flag racing this time by. Tobias Matheson is into pit road, so he is not going to be making the start of this race either, and he is going to be down and out. So we'll be down to 41 trucks by the time this race properly kicks off. Remember, no 3 wide allowed until we get to lap 17. Now, that is right when the first fuel window is going to be. That's kind of a mixture, right, on if you're in clean air versus if you're in the drive. Will be about 17 laps on average. You can stretch it to 18 or 19 laps if you're good at fuel saving, but it's going to be a pretty big if, and I'm expecting pretty much everybody to come down between the lap 15 to 19 mark. So all of that is going to mean this is going to be a very wild time for us here in this one, as 84 laps about to kick off, as we are about to go green flag racing for 218 miles. The pace truck is down in its pit road. As always, we are happy that you are joining us here on a Saturday night, as the field, driven by Jim Duda, works into the restart zone. Green flags up in the air. We are racing in Alabama. It is Robert Jordan taking the lead at lap number 1. Jim Duda will fall to 3rd. Giovanni Agapinti in the meantime, making a quick charge up to the top side of the racetrack, trying to make the line for the lead around the outside, pushed by the 429 of Paul Witt. Good start overall from the entirety of this field as we get ourselves tucked up line astern, double wide. And that 000 chrome machine is looking to drive to the front. Giovanni Agapinti, of course, a driver that's made a lot of noise in the open wheel scene over the years on the oval side of things. Used to run in many a series that we cannot say due to legal reasons on there. You can thank Motorsport Games for that, as Agapinti trying to drive his way to the front, seeing if he's got what it takes to win a SuperSpeedway race in some good old stock trucks. And right now, he's proven his worth so far. Being pushed to the front by Paul Witt, and he's going to try to jump down low. No room, and he's going to get caught in the sucker hole. 3 wide now as we'll go around the top. Now, we're not allowed to be 3 wide, but in the instance like this, there are some exceptions to the rule, such as when they're trying to avoid an accident like this, and they'll quickly double it out as quick as they can. Meanwhile, few drivers jumping out to go to the back. Brad Slug is among them, wanting absolutely nothing to do with this mess, as he's going to fade back into line. And that is completely discombobulated the outside line, as everybody going to get sent to try to drive forward and to the point. Robert Jordan, Jim Duda, Bill Hales, clear for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Down on the bottom, Aaron Raymond, side by side with Agapinti, making that drive for 4th. Well, so close to having a first caution early on in the race scene here tonight. But Robert Jordan going to try to drive this one through to the point. Now, the thing with being in the race lead, you're burning the most fuel in both lanes. So you want to make sure that you're not hanging around up there for too long, or you're going to have to find yourself pitting sooner than everybody else. Now Agapinti clears for the lead, and now he'll get the chance to jump down across the nose of Robert Jordan. I want to point out a phenomenal job from the field, not for that to end in complete disaster on just the 2nd lap of this race, as the leaders were forced 3 wide when Agapinti tried to get low. And now Team IEL's Paul Witt will drive to the front. He got pushed clear by James Hoskins at number 13. And Hoskins at the moment seeing if he can't make some waves and push his way up to the front of that number 23. One more driver, Zane Bailey, jumping out of line. He's going to fade to the tail end, and already you can see a fairly sizable pack starting to drop off from the main chunk of these guys. You got about first to about, I want to say 27th, and then 28th on back. Then you have Brett Rucker, who is leading 28th all the way back to the 40th position. The field closed out by Dustin Haynes, and then, of course, Kenneth Thompson sitting way at the tail end. He's almost lost the draft altogether to the Bass Pro Shops. Number 88, Silverado, just trying to hang on to the main chunk of this field. Well, right now, the big brunt all packed up line astern as they dive into turn numbers 1 and 2. And up front, Paul Witt, not the driver that's looking to be taking any prisoners for now, as he's going to maintain his run in that race lead. He is effectively unopposed right now in his number 429 machine. Although that said, pole sitter Jim Duda, the driver that made a lot of noise last week at Vegas, showing that he had the strength to go up and battle it out with the main runners. Going to be looking and trying to see if he couldn't push himself up towards the front early on. Of course, Jim Duda with that race at Las Vegas was going for the race win, ended up finishing third on the podium. So there was definitely an opportunity for Duda to go for that win last week, and he's trying to see if he can't get some of that redemption here in Alabama tonight. Tracks around the top side of the racetrack, but still trying to work with it, and it's going to be a difficult ride, right, for Jim Duda, trying to make sure that that 053 truck is there to really fight for a win at the end of this race. And all the while, drivers deeper in the field are just in survival. Oh, trouble! Look out! Occhipinti up in smoke! And the 000 blows the motor! Too hot on the water as Occhipinti goes up in it. And now we have a caution flag for crashing out of turn number 1 and 2. Sorry, 3 and 4. It is the big one coming off of the final corner. The 4 slides down, and Rincon barely scrapes through. Down on the inside, right by the safer barrier. Occhipinti is forced into pit road, and that'll be an early night for the 000, who is down and effectively out. But a big mess on lap number 7 from the Talladega Superspeedway. And this is a weird wreck, and we'll try to get a look on what happened here. This is all working out of turn numbers 3 and 4. This is from the secondary pack here, and you see them flying up on this whole mess, and I think they're already spinning out up the road. Well, there you see a few trucks starting to go around to the background, and Rincon did, in fact, get tipped, and this is in progress. And boy, it is a rough drive out of turn number 4. I see at least 6-7 trucks that get involved. And we'll try to get a better look at this one at speed and see what really went down. As, again, it got very, very hairy entering turn number 3. We'll get a look first with Giovanni Occhipinti. Now, Occhipinti, second truck in line. Now, you can't be pushing on the back bumper so constantly, right, because that water temp is going to start to heat up. There's no airflow going into that grill. And Occhipinti found that out the hard way, as his motor is going to expire right about there. The motor lets go. You see the smoke starting to fly, and then John Bualda Jr. behind. Oh, he got run into by Michael Gudger, and it was on from there. So this is all a stack up in relation to Occhipinti going around, and then it just all falls apart. Not as bad of a wreck as I thought. A good many drivers managed to avoid this one. Want to get a ride on board with Rincon in a little bit if we can, but for now, we've got trucks into pit road. Jim Duda, the first truck that's going to be down, and well, one of the first trucks that's going to be down and in, at least, is at the very end of pit road here. First in, first out. Fuel only stop for the 053, and that's looking like it's going to be ditto for pretty much everybody else in this field, as nobody opting to stay out on this first yellow flag of the evening. See if we can't find where Rincon is in the moment and get a ride on board with the driver that just barely managed to escape some pretty big disaster in his number 28 Chevy Silverado. On board, entering turn 3. You're going to see all of this mess start to check up in front here. Oh boy. And you know what? I think you actually may have escaped that just fine. And then all of a sudden, you think you're safe. You're not safe. Just managing to escape that mess. Agapinti goes up in smoke, and then Bawalda and Moore just kind of get piled up behind, and it's on from there. Oh, tough break for the 33. Getting all wadded up of Jordan Jung. Could not escape that one. We'll ride on board this time with the driver of the driver of the 000 here. This is going to be entering turn 3. And right there, you heard it immediately let go. And then in the rearview mirror, all of this. So Gudge was the first one that got turned by the 99, who just barely managed to get around to this. I believe that was the lone Australian in the field, Australian / New Zealander, David Anderson, that got involved in all of this. We'll ride on board with him. There's the smoke. You just, not a whole lot you can do, and oh man, he may have been shoved into it too. Got a little piece, but avoided the worst of it. Ooh. I think that was the 55 it was not the 55, excuse me. That may have been one truck, though, that just avoided the worst of that disaster way up the road. But, yeah, a nasty incident there to kick off racing action here tonight from the Talladega Superspeedway. Lights are out aboard the iRacing pace truck. We'll go green flag racing this time by. That's a big shame for a good number of drivers that get collected in that. But overall, I mean, that could have been a lot worse than it was. So I think the field deserves to be commended a little bit for how they handled that whole deal. It'll get you. The water temp, it'll get you. It's gotten me many times before. It's gotten many drivers many times before. Agapinti is by far not the first driver to make that mistake. He will not be the last. It's just a shame that such a big name is knocked out of the race by such an innocent mistake early on. Jim Duda going to take off on the green flag here, pushed by James Hoskins. Paul Witt and the 16 of Kyle Howard up on the top shelf as they're trying to make a move down onto the back straightaway. 3 wide, still not allowed, not for another 7 laps or so. But now there's not going to be a fuel run to break up the pack when they are allowed to go 3 wide. Witt will take the race lead over from Jim Duda after he got a push in the front by Kyle Howard. That 429 truck led a good chunk of the Daytona race. So Witt's a driver that knows how to lead SuperSpeedway races, but right now it may also be a factor of nobody really wants to try to overtake him because he's helping everybody else in this pack right now save some fuel. Witt, Howard, Rapp, all tucked line astern. And oh boy, big trouble at the back of the field. 1-2 trucks going around, one into the infield grass as the yellow flag will fly. Dustin Haynes is involved, and I believe the main driver that brought this one out may have been Frederick Hofstadter in that number 39 at the tail end of the field. Paul Witt will be our next, leader at the stripe for caution flag number 2 on lap number 13. We'll get a look back, and once again, we'll see what all happened here. Brett Rucker also may have been involved, so there's a bit that went on here. We'll watch from Hofstadter. As, we'll try that one more time to see if we can't get this rolling here, as it's not ideal necessarily. And here's going to be the look with Hofstadter, and the number 29. And this already started way up the road in front. There you see the 12 already loose. The 3 gets involved. It spins the 29 truck around, and it's going to slide right back up onto the racetrack. And well, not quite, but I believe that is what brought out the yellow flag here in this one. We'll get a look at speed from the air. This will be working down in towards down into the corner. Dustin Haynes was one of the drivers that kind of had a bit of a play in this. Brett Rucker, though, it was a big stack up the road from the 55 of Nicholas Erlin, and that's what kind of really kicked all of this off. So overall, that looks like it was a relatively tame wreck, all things considered. I'm not seeing too much in the way that would have really kicked all this off. But watch the 55 here. It's right behind Ryan McRoberts. Has McRoberts stacked up, or is this all on Erlin? Oh, yeah, it's a bit of kind of all around, and that's what sent a good chunk of drivers around. They all kind of pinballed off each other. Again, though, good job on the field for making that as small of an incident as possible. And woo, the 11. Having to really lock it down into the corner. We'll see if we can't get a look. This is on board with Mike Hamlin. Entering turn number 3, he's going to see all of it suddenly develop in front. That's a smart idea. Just lock it down. It's worth losing a few spots if you keep your truck clean. So good job on Hamlin there for backing it down. But caution flag is out for the second time of the day. About the bottom half of the field are into pit road. Jim Duda has once again retaken the lead as Paul Witt among the drivers that will take to pit road on the second caution here of this race. So far, 12 on up have opted to stay out. You're watching the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to the Talladega SuperSpeedway, where we are stacked up, doubled up, ready to go. Back to green flag racing, this time by for lap number 16 of 84. Working caution flag number 2. We had the big one on about on lap 11, working out of turn. Sorry, about on lap 7 there, working out of turn number 4. And then a secondary incident working into turn number 3 on lap 11. Now, I think it is important to note that still have most of the field in the running, so it's going to be something of a wild ride here on this deal, as we'll be looking to get back to green flag racing. It's been a wild night so far, and not expecting that to change at all, as the iRacing pace truck will pull into pit road. Jim Duda has had a habit of starting these restarts up front, but not staying there for long. We'll see if Kyle Howard, pushed by Chris Vamistricht, will be able to jump in line. Vamistricht, a driver that only made about 2 or 3 starts in the regular series season, but one of those was at Daytona earlier in the season last time around. Green flag's back in the air, and we are back on our way as Jim Duda leads the field into turn number 1. Whoa, a big jump to the top shelf from Dale Rapp, taking Thomas Lane Jr. with him, as Rapp looking to make a push to the point. And Lane's not going to stick up there for long. He's got to make a decision quickly. He'll jump back down right in front of Jim Duda. That will abandon Dale Rapp and send the 38 truck to the point. So Lane now leads the way, but Dale Rapp not done fighting this one yet, as he's going to jump right to the top shelf and try to make a move as well. And right behind him, believe that to be, looks like the 16 of Kyle Howard running in 4th. Kyle Howard, a driver that's been making some noise as of late. He's trying to see if he can establish himself as a force to be reckoned with here in the TNGG IEL Truck Series. And Howard has so far made every start in the Blitz. He sits 6th in points, exactly 20 back from Michael Gudger. Gudger, meanwhile, running back in the number 12 spot for the points leader, so it has not so far been Gudger's night, but there's a lot of race left, and right now, Gudger's in survival mode. We are on lap 17. 3 wide is now up for grabs, and we'll see who's going to be the first driver that looks to make that push to the front, and it's looking like it might be towards the back. Brad Slago trying to go to the top shelf, and he'll take the 19 up with him right in that middle lane. Here we go, 3 wide for the lead, as up to the top goes Kyle Howard. Nobody working, though, with the number 16, so he's going to be sent towards the back. Oh, contact with Vamistricht, bobbles down and somehow rebounds off of Mike Campbell, and we don't have a crash on the back straightaway, but it's going to continue to get tight, as now Gudger will take to the bottom, and he's got the 60 of Mike Allen with him. And right now, Kyle Howard made a big tactical error. He tried to go to the top, thought drivers would go with him. Nobody did. And he is going to be slipping further and further back now as racing continues from the biggest, baddest track on the calendar. Thomas Lane Jr., Jim Duda, Aaron Raymond, all packed up line of stern. Dale Rapp still trying to make a move up from the outside as well. Pushed by Vamistricht. And the 53 of Bill Hales trying to throw his hat into the ring as well. But again, long way to go. This is not a battle that's going to be settled in a one-lap debacle. And the way this is running, I only see this ending one way, and that is with a caution. Brad Slagle dipped out of the field early on, and now, with some help from Josh Berry, is being shoved right through to the point. Berry in the 19, scored as the 15. They'll make it 3 wide, 2 rows deep for the top spots as Brad Slagle trying to hang on. Van Straight trying to go up to side draft, couldn't keep them at bay. Brad Slagle was in 20th a lap ago, and now will rocket through to the point. Now, is he going to be loyal to the 19? Looking like he will for now, but here we go. This is the race in action that we expected to see, and it only took them 3 laps after 3 wide was allowed before they got right to it. Slagle now side by side with Lane for the race lead. We all know how this story ends, as it so often does in SuperSpeedway racing. 3 abreast in the mid-pack. As goodness gracious, these drivers do not know when to quit. Joe Rabb, one of those drivers that's 3 wide and working that top shelf of the racetrack, right behind Paul Witt. With the main pusher from that second groove as they thunder down the back straightaway. Look at all the snaking going on in all 3 lanes. That's always an unnerving sight to see. Whoa, boys, the 19 clears down to the bottom. Josh Berry will fire through and into the race lead. Just breaking clear of Brad Slagle. Thought that was going to end in complete calamity. And remember, we still got 3/4 of a race to go. We have only barely started getting into the thick of it. Two main lines are starting to be established. One right down by the yellow line and one right up at the wall. The middle groove so far is nowhere. Chris Vamistrick and Robert Jordan have been trying to make it work, but they've been slipping further and further back. Ryan McRoberts will jump into the middle groove, and believe we got one more truck kind of tucked in line right towards the back, and that is the 29 of Frederick Hofstetter, who was backwards about 10 laps ago, trying to establish his own momentum run in the center lane as well. Where do you go? What do you do? That is right now the question that is on everybody's minds as they thunder their way into turn numbers 1 and 2, firing down that back straightaway. And I can tell you right now, it is beyond intense right now. As oh my goodness, the 53 nearly out of shape. He is out of shape, but we're slowing big time on the back straightaway. Oh, and actually the 53 is blown out. Bill Hales is expired with the motor, and he's got the 33 trying to push him here. Jordan John trying to get around, and Bill Hales will escape to the top shelf, but one truck down the inside. We've got a caution flag on the racetrack, and I'm pretty sure it is not because of this, but we've had something else go awry, and it is James Wurtzman and John Bualda Jr. potentially. Right, okay, finally we can breathe some. Let's take a ride back and see what happened here. This is, oh wow, this is way down low on the back straightaway. Bualda tracking up. Whoa, boy, right. Oh, clothesline by the 4 of Wurtzma. Wurtzma tanks the inside wall. Bualda backs it in. And I do believe that may have been the cause of the caution right there. That would have been admin thrown that one as well. Let's get a look at this one. This will be from the air, and we'll get a look way back. This will be out of turn number 2, and we'll start this off with what happened to Bill Hales in his number 53 truck. I'm willing to bet same thing as what happened to Giovanni Occhipinti. We'll go back a little bit further to get a better look on all of this. Hales pushing Dale Rapp, and is that going to be overheated engine? It sure was. Identical to what happened to Giovanni Occhipinti. They all kind of got collected, and there you see. That was just caused by an unfortunate turn of circumstance. Oh, Wurtzma just, ooh. That is a heavy, heavy lick into the inside wall. Let's, we'll ride on board just a moment here, but we got more trucks into pit road. Berry among them, Slagle, Witt, Vamistrick, Jordan McRoberts, Lane, Duda, Hofstetter, Rapp. Right now, everybody from 20th on up, and we're continuing to see drivers ducking down into pit road. And in fact, that looks like it may very well be everybody. Josh Berry was one of the first trucks in, but it will not be the first out. Bested just barely by Brad Slagle. As one by one, trucks file their way out of pit road and back onto the racetrack. Here's, we're going to try to track down the 4 there of James Wurtzmuth. This is going to be on board. And hang on, this is going to be a wild ride. It was Mays, it looks like. Yep. Heavy leg into that inside wall, and then this will be with John Bowalda Jr. As John Bowalda Jr. himself took a very wicked shot into that wall. At speed. Heavy impact into the outside wall, and that's going to be our 3rd yellow flag of the afternoon. Ouch. Lights will go out on the iRacing pace truck this time by, and Slagle will opt for the inside lane this time on the restart. That'll send Josh Berry up to the top. At the moment, you've got 40 trucks still in the running, 39 on the lead lap. Giovanni Occhipinti remains the only retirement that took the green flag on lap number 7. Final event on our racing program for the week will be tonight's race at the Talladega Superspeedway. Coming on up over the next week or so, you'll have the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series for their trip to the Talladega Superspeedway on Monday night. That'll be on December the 12th at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. That will be their final race before they take a 2-week break for Christmas and New Year's, and then you'll of course be having the likes of the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. They'll be making yet another return to the Michigan International Speedway over 1 week from now, and that'll be no doubt an intense drive for all involved over there, as well as Michigan has proven before to be a racetrack of intense circumstances. That'll be on December 23rd, 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time, same place. They do not take a week off for the Christmas or New Year's, so we'll be seeing them back in action, with the other series maybe off for some holiday action. Meanwhile, we're back to green flag racing, this time by Brad Slagle leading the way down to turn 1. First restart. That Jim Duda is not up front, but not like he's not far away. He's that 3rd truck in line on the top side of the racetrack in the 053. Berry trying to see if he can't charge after Brad Slagle. Meanwhile, Robert Jordan working at the top side of the racetrack. Jim Duda in the fray as well. You've got Chris Van Mistrick third in line on the inside. Paul Witt in tow. No restrictions anymore going 3 wide, and it's not going to take long for us to see that third lane open on the outside of the racetrack, as I believe that to not be Hofstad, excuse me. That is Mike. Is that Mike Allen trying to make a move on the top side of the Castle Edge machine? No, it is not. That's Tom Mazie making a charge to the top side in his machine, as he'll take that Ford F-150 up to the top side. Whoa, boy! Points lead, and Michael Getcher will jump up to cut him off and use his charge to try to put it to the front. 3 wide for second. Could be 3 wide for the lead in a moment. And right now, Josh Berry doesn't know where to go, and he'll be stuck in the middle. Slagle gets alongside down to the bottom. Gudger will have that slingshot run off that third groove, working out of turn number 4 and into the tri-oval. 3 wide once again for the race lead as Slagle, Berry, Gudger, oh boy, line astern, 3 trucks deep, as no room for anybody to go. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. If you get a wreck up front, it's going to collect a whole mountain of trucks. But right now, we're keeping it smooth as Berry somehow managing to maintain the lead for the most part in that middle groove, but that's not going to last. You know it's got to end at some point. Gudger still looking to work the top shelf. Slagle trying to see if he can't get that shove from Paul Witt down to the bottom to make the inside lane work. Green flag pit stops so far tonight have not played a factor in how this race could pan out, and I don't think it's going to be a factor in this race throughout the entirety of its duration. We have not had a green flag run nearly long enough to make it a factor. Oh, a lot of wiggling. Oh, one into the outside wall. Top side of the racetrack, and I believe that was the 99 that found the outside wall. See if you can track down which driver that is, because I don't believe it's a real 99 here in this one. I think that's around where Mike Allen is. I believe that may very well be Brian Huntley Jr. that kind of just found the outside wall, working down the middle, the back straightaway. Somehow, though, we managed to survive it and keep it green. 30 laps will be down. 54 to go. Still 3 abreast for the race lead. At this point, most drivers will be white-knuckled with that wheel, trying to keep it pointed in the right direction. Oh, my goodness, as Van Mistrick. Sorry, Thomas Lane Jr., Mike Allen, and in fact, Paul Witt all kind of bobbling there, middle of the straightaway. As you work your way through turn numbers 3 and 4, and onto the front stretch. There is the entire pack of trucks running down towards us, trying to think of a good turn of phrase. Tornado just didn't quite seem to put it. It's definitely not a hornet's nest. It's almost a tsunami coming towards you of stock trucks as you'll work through turn numbers 1 and 2 to the back straightaway. Looking like Robert Jordan will finally be able to break clear as he'll jump down to that inside line. Still got Josh Berry trying to work the top as well in that. Oh, look out! One truck spinning to the inside. He's going to collect a handful. 4, 5. No caution yet. We're keeping it green. And we'll keep this race green. No yellow flag for that incident, as Ryan McRoberts still stopped down to the low side of the racetrack. misfortunes all around, and we'll keep this race pointed in the right direction. Not the way that Batesville was hoping for this to go down, and now you got a big break in the pack, and that could be the separation that we needed to finally get a longer green flag run. It's just unfortunate that it had to come in that type of a fashion. Take a look from the air. This is what happened just a moment ago. One driver found the outside wall, and it was on from there. Yeah, 4, 5, 6 all collected as they spun down to the bottom, but no caution. And James Wertzmuth down on the bottom, who just barely managed to get around it. And at the moment, Robert Jordan is one of the main contenders up front. A lot of stacking up, middle of the leading pack, which is now the biggest field on the racetrack. There's some separation further towards the tail end of the field here. And in fact, there is George Rincon currently leading the second pack. They're going to overtake Kyle Howard. Oh boy, oh, we got a crash on the front straightaway, and that's a big mess. Michael Gudger is involved, and he's facing the wrong direction as he's going to be backing it in towards pit road. John Holliday is destroyed. Mike Allen is backwards in the pits. Caution flag number 4. Dustin Haynes also involved. We'll get a look. This is working out of turn numbers 3 and 4. And wow, something big happening on the front straightaway. All right, so let's get a look. Gudger in the middle of 3 wide. So with that leading pack, there's the race lead Robert Jordan up the road. And, oh, has it been a bad bump from the 19 to the 60 of Mike Allen? Oh, yes, sir. Left ear hooks down, takes out Gudger. Oh, they both slam the outside wall, and he's going to come down and just clean out the 51. And, oh, whoa, oh, the 3. Tanked the inside wall. Dustin Haynes demolished. And Mike Allen sent for a wild ride into pit road as well. From the cameras leaning down towards pit road, as this gets violent here. Take a look at speed. Oh, hard leg, and then Allen comes sliding in, backs it into the inside wall. So a few looks we could really take to get a ride on board with this mess, as this will be with Mike Allen. Just got hooked, wrong place, wrong time. It's a hard lick into that inside wall too. Got a lot of trucks down and into pit road. Looking like Robert Jordan, first in, will be the first out. David Almalia will be taking that 58 truck onto the racetrack, as the 58 Silverado will be picking up third after starting this race way back in 38th. Or he's up 38 spots, excuse me. On board with Dustin Haynes and what he saw in this mess. Oh! Cannot stress how hard of a hit that was. Man, that was a violent wreck, and then John Holliday also had a big hit as well that he took in the thick of all of it, but of course not going to get a look on what Holliday saw throughout all of this, unfortunately, because of where he was kind of positioned. But it's just unfortunate, right, that these battles have to come down to the way it did. As, man, barely slowed down at all trying to get it checked up for that wreck, and it's never a pleasant sight to see. You can see the current wreck kind of develop a bit further up the road. There's Josh Berry, and he's going to get hooked up with Mike Allen, just gives that bad bump. It is on from there. And golly, that is such a violent impact into that inside wall, and it's times like that that I'm very grateful. It's just a sim and not the real thing. Because I promise you that would be a hospital visit if this was the real world for sure. Well, lights will go out. Robert Jordan with the race lead. Jim Duda second. Paul Witt third. Sorry, Paul Witt fourth, and it is David Almalila that's going to be down in fourth. Jordan will lead the way out of turn numbers 3 and 4. As it will once again be up to that 74 to take us to the green flag. Jim Duda this time will be relegated to the outside, but if he wants to go for the lead, I'm willing to bet it's not going to take him too long. Still have 36 trucks on the lead lap. 39 still in the running. Green flag is back in the air. Sure enough, did not take long at all for not just Jim Duda, but Paul Witt to get around Robert Jordan for the lead. As boy, that was a heck of a jump from the 053. And now we merely wait as the field will start to double up. Witt down low. Hofstetter now, after being wrecked early in this race, he's going to try to go to the point, and he will go to the point. Was the cause of caution flag number 2 by facing backwards entering turn 3, and he is going to be the one that drives to take the lead, but not for long. He's going to get caught in the sucker hole. Paul Witt and Brad Slagle will split the 29. But look at that inside lane, just getting the big charge at the outside, not formed up at all. It's not going to stop them from giving a shot, though, and oh boy, here we go. Big bobble from the top as Dale Rapp trying to get, one in the wall. Middle of the straightaway, and now here we go. The 23 going around, the 16 going around, the 71 collected as well. Mike Allen slides in, Zane Bailey is in it. And Mike Campbell and Zach Ravalli, two of the main drivers collected in this one of the 4. Getting tied up in that as well of James Wurtsma. Caution number 4. And this one, I think it's going to be fairly easy to say how this one came about as this all developed on the back straightaway. With the 23 of James Hoskins getting turned into that outside wall right there, kind of all stacked up, and well, it was just on from there at that point. Significant number of trucks getting involved as the 4 came sliding in, and I think he just barely, he barely got involved in with the 00. That's just wrong place, wrong time, I'm sorry to say. But boy, not the way that whole mess was set to go down, as Agravali will get turned around and he spun up towards the outside wall. Slid down the racetrack and just got into it there with the 4. Mike Campbell is one of the drivers that kind of got the worst out of this whole deal, as he got turned into the outside wall to boot with all of this disaster. Spun down to the bottom, and Mike Allen just was sent sliding in, and it was Zane Bailey as well, and I believe the 2 of them, that may have all been just kind of reactionary. We'll get a look. This will be from the air with these pairings here. From the air, you'll see Mike Allen just up the road. Caution's out at this point. Oh, McRoberts got sent into Allen, and then, yeah, Bailey did just lose it all by himself. We'll ride on board with James Wurtsma, the unluckiest of unlucky in this whole deal. He's going to run into the back of McRoberts to spin Allen around. Stacks it up, avoids the first part of the wreck. Unfortunately, does not avoid the second. Fifth caution flag of the evening. We are at halfway when we go back to green flag racing with 42 down and 42 to go once that green flag drops. We'll be back in a moment on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are working out of turn numbers 3 and 4, getting set to get back to green flag racing action from the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz at the Talladega SuperSpeedway. Boy, it has been a wild one here tonight, and it is only going to continue to up in intensity as we get set to kick off the second half of this race. Paul Witt will be the main driver, looking to take us back towards the green flag, this time by Jim Duda on his outside. As we will work into the Geico restart zone. Green flags in the air, and we're back underway. Still a long way to go. We've only just now hit the halfway mark as Witt, Jordan, Duda all ripping it on the top side as they'll work their way up and around. And Duda trying to go with it. How about that 58 pushing to the top side? Amalia trying to make a run with the 56 pushing him of Todd Mazie. But only 2 trucks so far stacked up on the top shelf as everybody else remains loyal to the 2 lines. Oh, maybe not. 4 wide into the tri-oval. Josh Berry caught in the middle. Brad Slagle caught in the middle. Still 4 abreast as he worked out of the tri-oval and down in turn 1. Will finally triple it out. First bout of 4 wide action, though, all night long. And I promise you, it will not be the last. There's enough room theoretically for 5 wide around this venue. Not like you'd want to go for it. It's been done before, though, so we'll see. Jim Duda continuing to try to lead the way from the outside. 053 pushed by 052. Josh Berry, 3rd truck in line from the top. They're pinching in the Team IEL drivers of Paul Witt and Robert Jordan down on the bottom. Really trying to work that side draft to drag the both of them back as you work down through turn numbers 1 and 2. It's not difficult to reel them back with the side draft, but it's a risky business, right? Because you never quite know if they're going to push you up, if you're going to get a little arrow loose from the top. Netcode, an ever prevalent discussion at races like these where you are racing in such a big field at such close proximity. But for now, we're looking solid. Duda, Witt, Slagle, Jordan. All packed up line astern. The 58 further behind of Almalia, still trying to see if he can't establish a run from the outside line. And he's got, well, to put it frankly, he's got Tom Mason trying to push him as well. And now Dale Rapp being the 3rd truck to hop to the outside to try to make that line work. Hey, or will we? Boy, we kind of scramble midfield. Somehow we escape it all. But it's still looking a bit intense as we'll work out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Fanning out, making sure we use all of the racetrack. Through the tri-oval, Paul Witt being pinched in by Slagle. Oh man, Rapp, look out as he nearly ran into him with Mazie there. Oh, trouble behind. Aaron Raymond gets hooked hard into the outside wall. Michael Gudger, the points leader, is with him. And that was up in turn 2 as Gudger was sliding to the bottom. Mike Allen involved. Caution number 6 on the night. It falls apart in turn number 1. Here's a look on what happened, and this all happened down in turn 2. Aaron Raymond pushing up the middle, trying to go for 3-1. He has to check up and slides up into Mike Allen, clips Gudger. And the three of those trucks went hard into the outside wall. I believe this to be just a three-truck incident, and in fact it was. Everyone else managing to escape disaster. Take another look, entering turn 1. That's a shame for Gudger. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we'll ride on board with Mike Allen and what he saw. Not too much that Allen could have done to react to that developing incident either. I have to commend the field for making the wrecks as small as possible. There's been a lot of great heads-up driving today to kind of keep this field running strong. It's just a shame there's been as many cautions as there has been, but I have faith we might get that green flag run, and it may be a right at the end, but we'll get it in. These guys will make sure of that. Pretty much the entire field making their way down into the pit road this time by for their usual service. Some drivers taking tires, some drivers are not. Oh, do that first in. Bested, though, by Witt and Slagle on pit exit. And they'll both start to push their way through. Boy, it has been a wild race, and it is an ever wild race here in this one. As this race bringing to a halt again when Aaron Raymond and Mike Allen both had it coming together as they were working around the turn numbers 1 and 2. We'll see if we can't get in touch with the driver of that number 6 truck here under this yellow flag. Aaron, this is Noel Ramble up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, not the way that the race wanted to go for that number 6 truck. What happened from your eyes to bring up this latest caution flag?
The pack kind of checked up there, and we would kind of went 4 wide off into turn 1, just kind of ran out of room.
It's the 6th caution flag in the afternoon, and I'm willing to bet it certainly won't be the last. Good news, only 1 lap down, so well within the shot to get the lucky dog. Is that going to be the goal here so you can get back into contention here for a win?
I hope so. If I don't, then it's bad points night.
What do you think you have to do to make sure that number 6 Good Wrench Services machine will be there at the end of this race by the checkered flag?
I'm just gonna have to keep myself out of trouble, get the wave around, and slowly work my way back up front of the pack.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to work. Best of luck out there on this restart when we go green flag racing with 34 to go.
Yep, I'm gonna give you a show.
As Aaron Raymond, the driver currently running in that 34th position at a Highgate, Vermont, going to be looking to put himself further up and have some better luck over the course of the afternoon. Paul Witt, I do believe, will be the race leader, and in fact, he will. Ryan McRoberts, technically 1 lap down. He'll get the free pass around the pace truck here and pick up the tail end of the field. So 33 trucks remain after, 33 trucks remain on the lead lap after 6 yellow flags, and at the moment, out of everybody in this field, you still have, I believe, 36 currently. Sorry, correct me on that one. 37 still technically on the racetrack. We may have Mike Allen down now. We'll see. He's been a bit road though for the last 4 minutes, so I'm not feeling too optimistic about him. As of right now, I'm thinking 5 DNFs so far on the day. Giovanni Occhipinti was the first on lap number 7. Then you had Dustin Haynes along with Chris Van Maastricht David Almalia might have, Almalia may have been in, he may face retirement as well, which is a big shame after he had such a good run over the course of his race. And in fact, let's find out what happened to David here, because it's showing that he took a jump to pit road. So he's coming to the pit road. This is under caution, and I do believe he may have just, he just pulled it off. So David called it quits. That's a big shame for the 58 truck. And Mike Allen, he's back on the racetrack, so I will stand corrected. We only have 4 drivers that have retired so far. 37 still running, 33 on the lead lap. And Paul Witt will lead the Torrent back to the green flag. Some may have noticed my voice is starting to already go, and we've got a long way to go yet in this race. It shows just how wild of a race it's been, though, when the voice starts to take a beating this early on. We'll see how this race will go this time by, as Paul Witt will work into that restart zone. Green flag's up in the air. We are back to green flag racing on the Talladega Superspeedway. Oh boy, Josh Berry trying to make a lunge for that race lead there as he tried to poke around the top side of Brad Slagle. Couldn't go for it. He'll remain tucked in line as they thunder into 3 and 4. Quick working the bottom. Slagle up top. Oh, and just barely clearing to the inside as Brad Slagle that time by. Now Josh Berry trying to push to the point. And how about that third lane already starting to open up on the top side. We knew it wouldn't take long before it started to become more prevalent. And right now, it is headed up. I believe that's be by that, well, it's a de facto 51 machine, not actually a 51 truck. Thinking John Holiday, it is John Holiday. Making that charge up on the top side. Trying to see if he can't establish a crusade for the race lead. At the moment, pushed by Mike Hamlin. Hamlin, of course, found the wall. Sorry, found the double zeros door earlier on after he had to slide to a stop on the apron to try to avoid a wreck. But ended up not playing out too much for the 11 truck as he's been back into the mix ever since. And there's the whole field thundering down that back straightaway. And we're talking less than inches apart in some instances on this racetrack, and it is always going to be such a big risk at a track like this. A lot of people will say a super speedway racing is all luck. It's all luck that finds you up front. I disagree. It's not luck that Jim Duda, Brad Slagle, and Paul Witt, along with Josh Berry and more, have been up at the front pretty much the entire night. That's not luck. You do need a good bit of strategy to go to pan out for you at a plate track like this. They've been able to play that strategy to perfection to keep themselves up at the front of the field for the entire duration so far of this race. Oh, Duda tried to clear with Slagle. Wasn't any room, and just at the last second there, Duda stopped his dive. Again, could have been disastrous, but Duda with that heads-up driving will manage to maintain his speed in that middle groove. And now, in fact, he's going to try to overtake Brad Slagle for the race lead. Shoved by Maisie in the second line. 30 laps to go, and usually around this point is when it all starts to kind of kick off. And when it gets 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 like this, that's when the caution flags come about. Has never failed once so far tonight, so at this point, I'm just waiting to find out where. I'll tell you what, I mean, this race so far has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we have been, oh no, there it is, Jim Duda spinning around, and that's going to be half the field. Or will it, as we're going to stack them up, but Jim Duda going around, along with more. I think McRoberts may have gotten a piece, and I think for the most part, we may have escaped that one. But it falls apart with Jim Duda getting turned for the race lead. That is unfortunate there for the 053, and we'll see if we can find out what happened. There was Duda spinning to the inside, back up into traffic. Paul Witt got hooked, and up into the air on top of the 29. Phases through Bawalda. Allen tanks the wall, and then Duda just straightens it up and keeps going. The 29 truck back here of Hofstadter started to spin around. Ryan McRoberts had to lock it down, and I think that's why this wreck was not worse than it was. I'll tell you what, that was a wild ride there that Jim Duda took. Take a ride on from the air at speed. And boom, up into the air on top of the 29. And straightens up and keeps going like an absolute champion right there. And then Hofstadter was the one that really kind of took the biggest hit. You're going to see Duda get turned left side of the screen right there. He'll slide in the shot, and then boom! Hard hit. Lane got turned around. The 19 of Josh Berry got turned around. The 8 got into it, and Mike Allen found the outside wall. Ride on board with Frederick Hofstadter. Just nowhere to go. Once again, a great job from the field. I mean, only about 3 or 4 trucks actually went around, and the good 8 or so will have damage because of that. But good job on this field to be able to survive that whole ordeal. Tom Mazie is way over to the left. He's going to slide into his pit box. But he may have a whole host of damage repairs that he's going to have to attend to. I could see him down and out of the race. Well, I say that is, ooh, hello. Getting into it a bit with Josh Berry there on. Barry was leaving his pit box, but Mazie with fuel only. Will he best the other folks out of pit road? Brad Slagle already out of pit road just in front, and will not. Mazie first in, first out. He will inherit the race lead as we tick over to lap 58. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz on Green Flag TV. Well, we're getting set to come back to green flag racing at the end of our 7th yellow flag of the evening. We will have 25 to go, and we will get back to it. And the moment, Tom Maisie with the race lead down to the inside of the Castrol Edge F-150. Brad Sliggins is outside. David Anderson is down in 3rd. John Holiday is 4th. James Hoskins, along with Jim Duda, will be down on row number 3. As, again, it has been a chaotic race, I think, to put it mildly. I mean, 7 yellow flags, and there is still a long way to go. I mean, we have just over a quarter. In fact, we will have a quarter of the race left to go by the time we get within 2 laps and now. Still lots of potential for some more yellow flags, and, again, that intensity, like I mentioned, at halfway, about 17 laps to go, is only going to continue to ramp up more and more the longer that this race moves along and the closer we get towards that checkered flag. At 56, looking worse for Ware on the right-hand side, but evidently not feeling too bad as Tom Maisie did not take the opportunity to get damages repaired under caution. In fact, took fuel only. Into the restart zone, green flag's up, and we're back to racing. Pushers this time around will be David Anderson and John Holiday. Work out of turn numbers 1 and 2 to the back straightaway. Down the Alabama super stretch. One of the longest straights in NASCAR, rivaled only by the likes of the Pocono Raceway and Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the Brickyard. Oh, did not take long that time. Caution flag is out, and that's for a spin down to the tail end of the field here. Zane Bailey looks like was caught up in this. Robert Jordan is involved. Gudger potentially involved as well. It's been a bit then that's happened to kick off our next yellow flag. Let's take a look back and see if we can't unpack. Gudger's way up the road here. This is, well, we're working middle of the backstretch here. Now, there's a bit of a stack up you can already see starting to develop down to the inside line, and I'm wondering if this is just a Constantina. 4 stacks to 12, stacks to 5, stacks to 64. There's the hit right there. That sends Gudger around. That's courtesy of Kyle Howard. Howard gets tipped by Robert Jordan. This Gudger slides into the infield. Jordan, meanwhile, spun around and kind of got into it with the 11 there of Hamlin, and that's what brought the caution down with that spin right there from Robert Jordan. We'll get a better look at this one here. This is working down the back stretch as, oh boy. Everybody kind of getting collected around to this one, and then Zane Bailey just sliding to a slow stop, trying to check up for this whole thing. Well, that's a mighty big shame. I have to say so, as a good chunk of drivers kind of got tangled up, if I have to be honest, a little bit needlessly there in the back straightaway. From the air, and you're going to watch that stack up down to the inside line. Right there's the first hit, and it's just on. Poor Robert Jordan, nothing that he could have done. That's caution number 8. Oh, there we go. A bit of a delay on that one there. As multiple drivers in a pit road. Ravalli, Bailey, Campbell, Jordan, Bailey, Casey, Ferreira, Barry, Erlin, Howard, Hofstetter, Bawalda. Good chunk of drivers staying out, though, on the racetrack. You know, we've been talking to a lot of drivers that have been kind of up front throughout the course of the afternoon. So why don't we try to go a bit further back in the field here, and we'll see if we can give a little bit of a chit-chat here to the driver, the number 12. This will be Brett Rucker, the driver that currently finds himself running back at that 18th position. Brett, this is a little wrap-up up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a wild race so far. You've been right in the thick of it from the drop of the green flag. Walk us through what the race has been like for that number 12.
Oh, really just kind of hanging back, saving my tires, let everybody else wreck. So moving up now.
Up into the top 20 so far for the first time in a good bit. What's going to be the game plan in these last 23 laps or so to put yourself through and make sure you can be there to fight for a title at the end of this race?
I'm going to start pushing now. I've just been saving everything, so push hard from here on out. Got a fast repair left.
All right, well, we'll let you get back down to work. Good luck out there on the restart when we go back to racing here with, I imagine, 21 to go.
Yeah, thank you.
Brett Rucker, driver the number 12, currently running 18th on the racetrack. Down one position from where he started in 17th so far tonight, but still looking good, and he's got some confidence he can work his way out there towards that front. He still has that fast repair, and I think that's one thing that's important to note. These drivers do have one quick repair that they do have access to over the entire duration of this race. And I have a very strong feeling that we'll be seeing these drivers in some pretty good positioning at the end of this race, as opposed to a lot of the field that have already used their fast repairs being collected in various incidents throughout the course of the race. It's one of those tracks where you have to really get your truck repaired as quickly as you can if you get any kind of body damage, because these trucks are very aero sensitive. And it is so important that you keep the power up, you keep the aero intact, so you make sure you're not left on the outside looking in when you get back to green flag racing. It's one of the advantages about a track that's as big as Talladega, right? The caution laps are 2 minutes and a quarter apiece. It's a long time where you can sit in pit road getting damages repaired. There's about 2 minutes there. You can do a lot of work. That's why a lot of drivers, if their car isn't smoking, they prefer just to come on down and let the pit crews do their work. Pace truck will pull down and into pit road, this time by as Slagle alongside Todd Mazie will work our way into the tri-oval, and we'll get back to racing action here. And this time, with 21 laps to go, we'll let you listen to the sights and sounds from the Talladega Superspeedway. Macy continuing to hold on to the race lead as we break that 20 to go barrier, and we are going to be down and into the teens now as we'll continue to close our way out from racing action tonight. Aaron Raymond worked to the top side, trying to see if he can't push to the front into the top 10. He is being shoved at the moment by Josh Berry, a driver that found some bad luck early on. He's now trying to see if he can get himself up and mount an offensive up to the third lane. Looking like John Holiday wants to go with them as Holiday will now take to the top side of the racetrack. Brad Slagle still in the mix down in that middle groove as well. And how about Maisie working the bottom side, the 99 of Anderson in the fray. Oh boy, a big loose moment there for the 23 of Hoskins. Just going to get rolling as we'll continue to steadily march on into turn numbers 3 and 4 for the Talladega Superspeedway, coming to 18 laps to go. Slagle, Holiday, Maisie, the 3 leaders at the moment in this field. We are still not safe on fuel. If this goes green to the end, we will have to make one more pit stop for a splash and go. So that might be playing with these drivers' minds, but I still do not believe that we are going to be going long enough for us to need a fuel stop in racing action tonight. I think another caution is inevitable, especially with how they've been running so far since the get-go, 3 by 3 wide, all the way back through the main battle pack in this field. And this 3 by 3 lasts all the way back until you're about in the 20th position. At that point, it double files out and then single files out, not too far after that. But right now, the top half of the field packed up by about 6-7 tenths of a second, next to nothing on the racetrack. 17 laps to go. This is the margin. If you pit here, you are good to go to the end of the race, but it's not going to matter to the inside. And here goes the rest of the pack as 3, 4, 5 more, at least 10 trucks collected. Half the field has just junked it on the back straightaway. Le Bon Van Leer, one of the trucks that's stranded in the middle of the circuit. And that has just brought the field to its knees on the back straightaway. Take a look from the air. And this all falls apart in a hurry as the 55 found the outside wall. It's one mistake, and then goes down to the Paul Witt, takes out the 99. There goes Le Bon Van Leer into the outside wall. They're wrecking up in the front as well, but there you see at least 6 trucks involved. There's 7. Thompson Jr. found the outside wall. The 33 gets nicked. That sends the 1 truck into Zane Bailey. I believe that to be Robert Jordan as. Goodness gracious. Big hits all around in this field. And even you're looking from the back straightaway, the 55 kind of went down and looking like Kyle Howard. No, that's the 29 truck, excuse me, that kind of got collected in the fray. That wasn't Frederick Hofstadter. Hofstadter's already in the pit road, but again, a good number of drivers. It was the 85 that got sent to Robert Jordan and just nailed the 33 as well. That's it's a violent impact, and it's not one that you ever want to see at a race like this. As boy, not a pleasant drive for a lot of the folks in this field, as it's a pretty hefty lick right there. The 88 had to really lock it down, and 71 just managed to avoid all of that. We'll get a look with that 71 truck if we can in just a moment. For now, still trying to see who went hard into that inside wall. And was that Raymond? Couldn't have been. No, it wasn't. Okay, Raymond wasn't sent down. It was the 99 that got sent around and went hard into the inside wall, but couldn't get a bead on quite who that was. But again, it's a tough incident in a wreck like this. And in fact, Paul Witt found the inside wall in the big way himself. You have a lot of trucks that are pit road right now, so we'll get back to race in action in just a bit. Josh Berry was the first in. He'll be the first out as well. This is the money stop, right? This is where it really counts. You're good to go to the end from here. You don't want to be spending any more time in the pits from here. Get another look back at Paul Witz, spin to the inside, and hard into that inside barrier. The 55 truck of Nicholas Erlin was one of the big drivers that kind of got collected and all of that. We'll get right on board with Erlin here. This is going to be on the back straightaway. Oh, well, that's a bit further back than we were fully intending. We'll get a better look at that one this time by as this is working down the back straightaway as Erlin. Well, no, a little bit further. Working out of turn 2. Here we go. This is the one I wanted to see, and no check. I mean, he's the pusher. This is just Erlin finding that outside wall, and he got a bit unsettled, and round he goes. Oh, that was the big hit right there. That's the one that really did the most damage. The 71 truck of Mike Campbell did a phenomenal job to lock it down, right on board with him. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Oh boy. Just avoids the brunt of all of that. Oh, and they were still wrecking even into turn number 3. One more time, this time from the air as a messy incident to put us back onto the caution flag. There you see the field getting junked up in the middle of the backstretch. I believe that to be the 88 truck that kind of got collected up in the fray. We'll ride on board with the 88 as well. And track down where Kenneth Johnson is. There he is. Trying to slow up for this whole mess, and he's going to run to the back of Raymond Hanneman here. Oh, ew. Right there. Tough break there for the 88 truck. That's got to be the biggest crash of the race so far, and that was all into the outside wall. Golly. Whew. Well, after all of that, I think we'll finally be able to kind of get ourselves sorted in time for the end of this race. And I have a very strong feeling that we're still not done wrecking. I think we got one more caution in us, and we'll make it to double digits. But we'll have to see. Josh Berry will be leading the way. We'll get set to take it to the green flag this time by. Pace truck is into pit road. It's 15/19 with Brad Slagle on the outside. Will lead us back into the Geico restart zone. Bit of a push start there from Jim Duda as Barry will try to get clear down into turn 1. Whoa, hello! Big move on the back straightaway will send one truck down and onto the apron there. Somehow we're going to survive and keep this race green, but somebody moved around and bashed somebody down below the yellow line. And somehow we'll keep this thing rolling. A dozen laps to go at the line. And Slagle, the point of the spear. There they all are, working down that back straightaway. The Alabama super stretch. Berry, Slagle, and now Campbell, all tucked up into a line. And are we about to go 4 wide for the lead? We are not. I think Hoskins thought about it. Decided last second to opt against it, which was a smart move. It's hard to even describe what's happening right now on the racetrack because there's so much that is going on at any one given point. All I can say right now is we are in the midst of organized chaos. And the moment somebody gets a wrong bump, that chaos is going to get very disorganized very quickly. Down the back straightaway, Berry. Second groove up, pulling clear for the lead. Oh, McRoberts just behind, third in line, going to go 4 wide into turn 3. Thought about it, back down to the last second. He'll remain third on the second lane. That little bobble allowed for Slagle to try to drive away from the bottom. Could not get there, though. And it'll remain a dead heat between Berry and Slagle at the line, with Chris Campbell still trying to fire his way up into the mix. Ten laps to go from the Talladega Superspeedway. As we fire out of turn numbers 1 and 2 down the Alabama Gang super stretch, and right now it is complete pandemonium. There's no such thing as teamwork right now. This is just every man for himself as McRoberts will door Campbell up the track in 3. Somehow Campbell hangs on. McRoberts will funnel back into that middle line, but a big blink there from Brian Huntley Jr., who leads the wave, and that nearly stacked up the whole field. Slagle wants nothing to do with that. He's going to go to the top side to try to overtake the 99. Oh, we're about to wreck back here in the field. We're about to wreck back here. There we are. We are wrecking. 3, 4. Oh, we are going to collect Dale Rapp, who will make a 5th, but I think for the most part, getting around that, Raymond Ferreira, I do believe, was the main instigator along with Brian Cloyd. Bill Hale's getting into it, and that's caution flag number 10. And we'll be green flag racing with under 5 laps to go. Might be exactly 5 laps to go. Well, that all started entering turn numbers 1 and 2. Get a look back at this one here as Brian Cloyd, kind of in the middle line of that number 12/21 Menards machine. They were 4 wide. Bill Hale's up on the top, and the 18 kind of trapped in the middle, and they just all come together. Hooks the 12 into the outside wall, and around they go. And Dale Rapp is just barely going to find a piece of it there. That'll kind of swing that 12 back around. Meanwhile, they're going to straighten it out just behind it as well. And has Cloyd? Yeah, he has gone back into that outside wall. Brad Slagle leading the way. Less than 10 laps to go. It is all kicking off from the Talladega Superspeedway. Next week on Green Flag TV, the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series will swing out to Talladega, Alabama for the final race in the round of 12. They'll eliminate 4 drivers, and their playoff season will go from 12 to 8. And that will see them off then to a 2-week break for Christmas and the New Year. The Superspeedway Blitz in the meantime will be swinging on out to the Michigan International Speedway on December 23rd at 7:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for what should be a very wild race in their own right. 10th caution flying of the evening. We're going to take one final step away, and we'll be back with the conclusion of the Talladega Blitz in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Five laps will be the distance when we get back around to the start-finish stretch to take the green flag for what could very well be the final time tonight. If we have one more caution, this will force us into our one and only overtime attempt. Last week's race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway down in Nevada did end under the caution flag after a restart crash. Saw several trucks piled up just after start-finish at the tail end of the field. We are hoping it will not be a repeat. Talladega finishes are always something to behold in the trucks. They are never dull, and we know for a fact we are going to be in for what could be quite possibly one of the wildest finishes we'll be having all season long. Brad Slego has the lead. Brian Huntley Jr. to his outside. Behind them, the pushers will be Jim Duda and James Hoskins. Pace truck is down and then to pit road. The field will work its way into the tri-oval. Looking for that restart zone. 5 laps to go. Green flag is back in the air and we are back underway. Slego very, very quick to jump on the loud pedal and jump to the front as Duda will pick up the number 2 spot. Huntley did not get going off of the restart. Still trying to be pushed by Hoskins as Ryan McGrath picks up 3rd. Now the outside line building some steam. And we will not make it back as the caution flag is out, and that will force us into overtime. And looking like Brian Cloyd may have been the cause of this one, as he's going to be forced to take a tow to pit road. One more caution flag left. Finding out what happened to the driver, the number 8, the 21. Oh, contact with Bawaldo, 3 wide on the backstretch, sends Cloyd head on into the outside wall. And spinning down to the turn number 3. That puts us under the caution flag. And at this point, I'm not confident we make it back around to the restart and to the checkered flag under green flag conditions. Here's one more look. Bit of a hefty whack there into that outside wall. Let's ride on board with John Bawaldo Jr. We'll see what he saw through all this. Working the back stretch. And Cloyd, I think, may have tried to go up the middle. Oh, we did. That's exactly what he tried to do. And I mean, hey, Bawaldo held his line. I think that's more on Cloyd than anything. Bawaldo's not obligated to make room. Cloyd goes low, and I mean, Bawaldo's there. He's not holding it. He's holding the line. Cloyd tries to shoot it up the middle, and it goes wrong. One more look. Yeah, I mean, Ryan comes up. I mean, that's what brought out that yellow flag. So hedge your bets, who's going to be the race winner at the end of the night? As we are now officially into overtime from the Talladega SuperSpeedway, and it is our one and only attempt. Now, typically, the way a green-white checkered overtime attempt would work, you take the green flag. If you get a caution, you reset, you try it again. If the white flag comes out, well, that's the race. We only have one attempt, though, which means if we get another caution in this race, that's it. It's over. The race will end under the safety behind the safety truck. We're hoping that doesn't end up being the case, but you never quite know. Countdown has begun for the Virtual Sports Car Association's run to Speed Weeks. The VSCA crew had a testing session at the Daytona International Speedway road course earlier this morning. And they are, of course, we have not broadcast any of their races as of right now, but they are going to be a pretty big name that's going to be coming to Green Flag TV over in January. They run a 100% IMSA schedule. They will be covering, or we will be covering the entirety of their season. It was initially only going to be the Daytona 24. That turned to Speed Weeks. That turned to a few races throughout the season. That turned to the full season. So the Roar before the 24 will be taking place on January 13th. It'll be Saturday morning on Green Flag TV. And then the week after, we'll have our first ever 24-hour presentation. Myself and a whole host of other drivers, DJ Clark, Austin Edstrom, names that are familiar to people that watch our series elsewhere. They'll be on call for a good chunk of the race. A good Australian buddy of mine, Peter Baxter, will be here for the overnight portions. Ryan Walker, another associate of mine from races we've done elsewhere, is going to be helping to cover things. We might get Scott Rankin into the broadcast booth. It's going to be big. And we're hoping that you're going to be there right along with us, at least for a few hours of what will be a very arduous race, but a very rewarding race if all goes well. They're looking to have a full grid when they go racing for their 5th annual Daytona 24 for the Virtual Sports Car Association. So coming out January 13th, then the 20th through to the 21st to join us for some good old endurance series racing. Both of those races should be kicking off at about 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Lights out, 1 lap to green. Brad Slagle leads from the inside. Brian Huntley Jr. leads from the outside. The pushers, just like the one in the last restart, Jim Duda and James Hoskins. At this point, though, it's anybody's race, because these top 4 wreck. Well, I mean, we saw what happened to the Old Mr. Xfinity Series with the Talladega 150, where Spencer Ray kind of weaved around a bit on the backstretch, caused a big crash. Himself got hooked hard into the outside wall, was facing backwards, somehow managed to come home and win because every single car was taken out. The possibilities are endless, is what I'm trying to say, as we'll work into the restart zone this time by. And this will be our final restart attempt of the night. Green flag is up in the air for the final time at the Talladega Superspeedway. They just have to make it around to the white flag, then all bets are off, but already we're going 4 wide in the background. That's not going to work. We're to the outside wall. Caution is out, and for the second week in a row, we'll end the race behind the pace truck. As Aaron Raymond dumping the 12 after the fact. So Raymond, I think, is angry, possibly with a broken truck as well. And Brad Slagle will be your winner. Good grief. Not the way we were hoping for that race to go down, but sometimes it's how the cookie crumbles. We got a look from the air, and this collected pretty much everybody as they went 4 wide entering turn number 1. The 51 of John Holiday kind of squeezed up the 33. They started wrecking up the road, and I mean, it's on from there. I think Raymond's truck was just broken instead of trying to wreck the 12. Well, that's a shame. That could have been a good finish. That really could have been a phenomenal finish. As we'll get one more look from the drop of the green flag. As man, what a shame! What a shame. Kind of started ahead of 4 wide. It didn't even start with the 4 wide incident. It looked like John Holiday kind of got hooked around. Oh, right there. Oh, it was McRoberts that got turned hard into the outside wall. And I mean, that's all she wrote, pretty much. Well, at the end of the night, 12 cautions later, Brad Slagle will be the driver that will come home, and he will take the checkered flag as he will win tonight's race for the Talladega Superspeedway behind the pace truck. Get one more look, see what find out what happened to Ryan McRoberts here. He was one of the trucks that really kind of kicked this whole thing off to start things. This is working into turn 1 at speed. It's right up there at the front of the field too, and no, it may have been something come down. Oh yeah, Brian Huntley Jr. comes down, and boy, hooks them both hard into the outside wall, and well, there you go, caution's out. Brad Slagle will be your race winner at the end of the night for the driver of Elkhart, Indiana. So Slagle going to be your race winner here at the end of the night, and he'll get the chance to burn it down to the front straightaway before too long. But for now, we'll have your official post-race results over here coming on up. As at the end of the evening, it is the 052 to take the race win ahead of Jim Duda. Michael Gudge will bring it home in third. James Hoskins was in fourth. Mike Bagwell fifth. Josh Small sixth. Josh Berry in seventh. Raymond Hanneman in eighth. Mike Hamlin in ninth. Jordan Jung rounds out the top 10. Mike Campbell Jr. will be in 11th with LeBon Van Leer in 12th. Thomas Lane Jr. 13th. George Rincon in 14th. John Bolton Jr. 15th. James Wurtzba in 16th. John Holiday 17th. Zach Rivaldi in 18th. Zane Bailey 19th. And Paul Witt rounds out the top 20. Robert Jordan, Kyle Howard, Tom Maisie will be the next drivers on down. Continue to move on down through the field here in this one. Trying to find where I was in that one, excuse me. Nicholas Erlin, Brett Rucker, Dale Rapp, Aaron Raymond, Ryan Huntley Jr., Nicholas Casey, and Ryan McRoberts will be the next few drivers down throughout the course of this field. As you work your way now into the 31st position, continuing on down through this field, Ryan McRoberts was in 31st spot. Raymond Ferrer was 32nd. Kenneth Johnson 33rd. Brian Cloyd 34th. David Anderson 35th. Mike Allen 36th. Frederick Hofstetter was in 36th. David Almalia was in 38th. Chris Van Mistrik, Dustin Haynes, and Giovanni Occhipinti rounded out the 41 trucks that took to the green flag. Tobias Matheson did grid up. He opted not to take to the grid with us here tonight. So that is the 41 truck field at the end of what was an intense ride indeed from the Talladega Superspeedway, and a bit of a shame that it had to go down the way it did. But hey, sometimes, as we mentioned, it is just how the cookie crumbles, and there is nothing you can do about it except put your chin up and go about it another day, and we'll see if hopefully we'll get to go. We'll get to see that day next week at the Michigan International Speedway. We'll take a trip back now and speak to some of the drivers at the end of the night that put together what was, at the end of the day, still an absolutely phenomenal show. And I think we will first and foremost look to kick things off here with the likes of Brad Slagle, the driver that, of course, takes to the checkered flag, not in the style that I know he was hoping for, but it will be Brad Slagle up here in the broadcast booth with us. Brad, it's the second race in a row that has finished under the caution flag, but a win is still a win at the end of the day. How are you feeling after a very long and intense race here at Talladega?
Well, yeah, like you said, it's not how we ever wanted to win. You know, I'll take it as it is, but there was a lot of stuff going on this race. So it put me in the lead, I'm pretty sure.
And at the end of the... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Just saying, hopefully we stayed green and had a little bit of a run there.
I mean, at the end of the day, you come home, you take the race win, and this is big news for you, right? Because I know you weren't really able to contend for the regular Truck Series title in the last season, but hey, I mean, you've been showing that you've got the pace and you've got the points right now to really contend for the title here in the SuperSpeedway Blitz, and no doubt this is going to help you big time. So how does it feel to have this big points boost working into the second half of the season?
It's nice. It'll help. We're getting a lot of new drivers in the league here. I believe, at least it seems like it. A lot of the guys are joining in these races. They're joining the league, so we're gonna have some more new competition, new faces this year. I know we got the Aussies over there with Rankin and them, and if we get Badger Racing, if they come on, it's gonna be a tough season this year.
Looking forward to next week. We'll be swinging up to the Great North down at the Great Lakes State. Michigan International Speedway will be the next track up. What can you expect to see from that 052 as we work into that 2-mile behemoth?
Well, I'm low-key kind of hoping there's not a big turnout being a couple days before Christmas, because my family decided we're doing Christmas that night. So hoping there's too low of a turnout to run the race, honestly.
Well, we'll hope that you get that low turnout that you're hoping for. Potentially you can take that time off to spend the Christmas with the family. Otherwise, congratulations on the race win here tonight. And, well, we'll wish you the best of luck either next week or whenever we see you on the track next.
All right, thanks. Can't wait to watch it.
Was Brad Slago joining us up in the broadcast booth from Victory Lane. We will move on down to the likes of Jim Duda, the driver that comes home to take up the number 2 spot here at the end of the night of the 053. Started this race from the pole, ends up finishing 1 spot down. Jim, a good race for you overall tonight. You were pretty much in the top 5 and untouchable for a duration of this race. Walk us through it. Mr. Duda, this is Noel Rempel here in the broadcast booth on Green Flag TV. Got a copy? Evidently not. Jim Duda, either with technical problems or potentially down and out, unfortunately enough for him. And not seeing Michael Gudger hanging around, so that may very well be it for us then here, unfortunately, in this one. So that's a bit of a shame, but we will not get the chance to talk to the number 2 and number 3 finishers at the end of the evening. But overall, a very, very wild race that we had here on Green Flag TV tonight. And Talladega, it always throws up some curveballs. It's just unfortunate that the curveballs that we saw today had to pan out the way we did. But next week, we'll be swinging on out to the Michigan International Speedway to get things back rolling. And, of course, when we return on Green Flag TV, it'll be, again, here at Talladega for the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series on Green Flag TV. And that will be for the final race in the round of 12, where we move from 12 to 8 and march our way with only 4 races to go in the Cup Series season after next Monday's race. That and so much more coming on up on Green Flag TV. Once again, my name has been Nolan Rempel. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all next week when we go racing in Michigan.